Good evening, it's 6:30 p.m. Greenwich Meridian time. This is the Christmas Eve edition of News Tonight on GHOne TV. Our top stories for the evening. The Electoral Commission defends its actions in the recollation and redeclaration of results for 7 out of 9 disputed constituencies, citing precedents from previous elections.
We are hopeful that the 2 outstanding constituencies will have their members of parliament elect very, very soon, way before the swearing in parliament.
And a landmark case filed against Wesley Girls Senior High School for alleged systemic religious bias against Muslim students. Does it hold merit? We delve into the details. The heightened demand for accountability over reports of misappropriated fertilizers meant for distribution. Stay tuned for reactions from farmer groups. Some sports updates as Swag promises an unforgettable experience at the upcoming 49th Swag Awards. Internationally, rising tensions in Gaza as Israel reportedly targets 2 hospitals, displacing patients from a 3rd facility. We've got the details of these stories as well as a Christmas message from the outgoing president, Nana Akufo-Addo, and more. My name is Emmanuel. Agyabeng. Stay with us for the 1-hour broadcast. You're welcome once again to the bulletin. Is live on all our social media platforms at GHOne TV. Now, private legal practitioner Shafiq Osman has filed a landmark lawsuit against Wesley Girls Senior High School, alleging systemic religious discrimination against Muslim students. The case, filed at the Supreme Court, invokes the original jurisdiction of the court and Articles 2(1)b and 131A of Ghana's 1992 Constitution. Osman is accusing the school, the Ghana Education Service, and the Attorney General of violating constitutional rights by enforcing policies that restrict Muslim students from practicing their faith and compelling adherence to Methodist practices. The suit seeks declarations that these policies breach constitutional provisions on equality, freedom of religion, and international human rights laws. The lawyer argues that such restrictions discriminate against Muslim students and undermine their welfare, contrary to Articles 12, 17, 21, and 35(5) of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. So this particular landmark lawsuit, we are seeing some 9 reliefs being sought by Shafiq Osman, and the first one is seeking a declaration that a defendant's policy prohibiting the belief, practice, and observance of Islam by Muslim students on its campus is contrary to and inconsistent with Articles 12, 17(1) and 221B, C, and 26 of the 1992 Constitution and international human rights cognizable under Article 35 of the Constitution of Ghana, as well as seeking a declaration that the first defendant's policy compelling and requiring the practice of a compulsory school religion in a public school is contrary to and inconsistent with Articles 21 and 26. The third one is a declaration that the first defendant's policy prohibiting Muslim students from exercising their religious rights is unlawfully discriminatory and a violation of Article 17(2) of the Constitution of Ghana. A declaration as well that the limitations on Muslim students in the first defendant's school undermines the welfare of Muslim students and the international human rights on the child cognizable under Article 33(5) of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, as well a declaration that the first defendant's policy compelling the practice of Methodism by all students is an establishment of religion in violation of Article 21 and Article 56 of the Constitution of Ghana. The second one is a declaration that by allowing the first defendant's policy of compelling the practice of Methodism by all students, the second defendant has unlawfully allowed the imposition of a common religious program in violation of Article 56 of the Constitution of Ghana. The seventh is an order perpetually restraining the first and second defendants with immediate effect from further administering the impugned policy in the first defendant's school or similar policies in any other school. The eighth being an order directing the second defendant to enact constitutionally compliant guidelines for the regulation of religious practice and observance for all public schools in Ghana. And then the ninth one is any order that the Honorable Court made in faith. The first defendant in this particular case is the Wesley Girls Senior High School, the second being the Ghana Education Service, and the third being the Attorney General. Well, more on this particular matter shortly, but before that, Minister for Education Dr. Yao Osei-Aduchum has assured Ghanaians that the 2024 West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination, speaking of the WASSCE, its results will be released by December 29. The announcement comes amid growing concerns from the Conference of Heads of Private Second Cycle Schools over delays linked to 118 million Ghana cedis debt owed to the West Africa Examinations Council, WAEC, by the ministry. Speaking to journalists during a working visit to WAEC's headquarters, Dr. Aduchum disclosed that 50% of the results have already been processed, easing fears of prolonged delays.
Doing impromptu visits across the country by various agencies, so this is not unusual. However, I came to apprise myself of developments in terms of the fact that they are working now through the holidays to get the results out on or before 29th of this month. So I came and I saw the workers scanning is being done, close to 50% is done. They assure me by the end of the day over 50% of scanning will be completed. On or about 29th of this month, the results will come out. So I'm very satisfied.
We know they were having some little challenges with funds initially. Do you think that the delay of the fund may affect the speed at which they
28th, 29th results will be out. We're on the same page with them. Okay. All right.
But the 35 million, will it come? You owe them at least more than 100 million cedis.
Excuse me, you don't have the facts.
Okay.
So it's important that you get the facts before you confuse the public. Thank you.
So how much do you owe the WAEC in itself? So the minister will not give us those figures, but he's already assured us that the monies will come, or the marking will be done and the results released 29th of December 2024.
Meanwhile, ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Speaker Nochu Kote, says that the incoming NDC government will prioritize inclusivity in education governance. Speaking to GHOne News, the Akachi North MP pledged that all stakeholders will have a platform to voice their opinions, ensuring that education policies reflect diverse perspectives. He further reviewed plans for major reforms in the sector aimed at addressing systemic challenges and enhancing quality education delivery.
When we come into office, what is necessary to be done immediately to make sure that students going back to school on time is not affected, we will do so. I can assure you that we will not disappoint Ghanaians. But we're going to carry out an investigation into all these delays. What have they done with the various sums of money given the Minister of Education by the Minister of Finance? We'll go into all these things. And we need to do what the President has said, the incoming President has said, that there will be a stakeholder engagement 6 months into his government so that we chart a way forward for education in general in this country, not only the free senior high school, but all other aspects of education. But I can assure you that the pressing issues of WAEC and that of the secondary or senior high schools will be handled as soon as power is handed over to us. If this government
It's now time to bring you the biggest story of our bulletin. The Electoral Commission has robustly defended its decision to recollate and declare results in 9 constituencies after this have historical precedence in Ghana's electoral process. This comes after a High Court ruling on December 20 directed the EC to finalize results for constituencies including Tema Central, Nsawam Aduedri, Blakuma North, and Tichima South. 7 of the 9 constituencies were subsequently declared in favor of the MPP parliamentary candidates. Speaking to the media, Dr. Eric Bosman-Asare, Deputy Chair of the EC in charge of corporate services, highlighted instances under former EC Chair, Dr. Afari Jan, where recollation was necessitated in constituencies like Tulum, Pru and Zabzugu. He maintained that the initial declarations in these disputed constituencies were legally flawed, warranting rectification.
It has been stated by some people that the recollation the Commission is doing is illegal. This is because the CI says after declaration you cannot recollate. We wish to state that this is false. It is important to note that the Commission cannot uphold an illegality. What happened at the collation centers where the collations were done without all the polling station results and where people were held to the gun and knives cannot be legal, and the Commission will not uphold this.
Deputy Chairperson of the Elections Management Body in charge of corporate service, Dr. Eric Bosman-Asare, cited historical antecedents for the decision of the Commission to recollate some 9 outstanding constituencies. He insists those declarations were illegal.
The following are examples of recollations that took place after disruptions of the collations or declarations at the Electoral Commission under the leadership of our former chairman, Dr. Kwadwo Afarijan, in 2004. In Zabzugu Tatale, during the collation of the parliamentary election results, a mob attacked the collation center, destroyed all materials in sight, especially the statement of poll and declaration sheets, that's the pink sheets. In Tolong constituency, a mob attacked the collation center and the house of the returning officer simultaneously, taking the family of the returning officer hostage. Again, the Commission directed that in view of the security situation, all result sheets and ballot boxes should be retrieved with support of the army to the regional office in Tamale for the collation, especially the parliamentary results, to be completed and declaration made also in Tamale.
He further indicated that in the coming days, the Commission would take a decision on the outstanding 2 constituencies.
We are hopeful that the 2 outstanding constituencies will have their members of parliament elect very, very soon, way before the swearing in Parliament.
The Commission further revealed that it has submitted a list of 274 members of Parliament elect to Parliament with only 2 seats remaining unresolved. Despite mounting criticism from the public, particularly from the National Democratic Congress, the Electoral Commission insists the recollation and subsequent declarations are firmly anchored in legal precedents and well within its constitutional mandates.
Well, as the debate wages on private legal practitioner Kwame Jantua has criticized the Electoral Commission's justification for recollating results after they had already been declared, calling it legally unsound. In response to the EC's reliance on historical precedents, Jantua argues that the Commission's reasoning fails to address the specific legal concerns surrounding this particular case. He contends that the reference to previous instances does not sufficiently justify the actions taken in the current electoral disputes. Let's speak to Dr. Akusiya Mache-Boatin, who is a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, on this matter of redeclaration by the Electoral Commission. Thank you so much for your time this evening, sir. The EC is justifying its decision to recollate and redeclare results in these constituencies, 7 already done with 2 outstanding. Basing this on historical precedents, does it justly satisfy all parties in this particular matter?
Let me say thank you for having me, and let me say good evening to your viewers. On matters of this nature, I'm afraid you might not succeed in using historical factors to justify, the current situation, because the context might be different. The developments might be different. In what happened the previous time, we simply, I don't have the facts, but you realize that all the contesting actors are alluding to legal issues. So given the way things are, and the EC also insisting that they are well within their legal limits, and that they are doing the right thing. That is why the electoral processes has the judiciary as the final point of call. Anytime we have disputes, they must be resolved for the reason that, the nation has got to move on. And so, given the way things are, going now, I won't be surprised if everything ends up in the courts again for, a final adjudication, an authoritative one, after which, all the actors will have to lay down their tools and allow Ghana to proceed.
I have seen a message from Parliament indicating that new members of Parliament, that's the MPs elect, will be registered from Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. Given the time frame that we have, would it allow room for even these matters to be amicably settled, even at the law courts?
They might go ahead and register those that the EC will provide to, the Parliament. The clerks and their staff there will do their work. But then, if any of the political parties has issues with any of the members there, they going through the registration and even presenting themselves for parliamentary duties will not stop the legal process. And it does not necessarily have to go through within this short period of time, get it resolved before, the 9th Parliament begins sitting. No. Even while, they are sitting, the cases, the courts could be looking at the cases. And this time around, too, we know that the Chief Justice has made provisions for such, actions to be taken and the courts to work expeditiously if any such issue crops up. So I believe that whatever it is, there has to be a finality to this issue. Someone will have to come out of those constituencies as the member of Parliament. So yes, given the fact that the parties are not coming to some sort of agreement, and that is the nature of politics, conflict. So it's normal to some of us. The courts will speak and the issues will be put to rest.
Now, some chiefs, they call themselves the inner city chiefs and queen mothers, they have actually called for a rerun of the elections in these constituencies. Do you see feasibility here for a rerun? Given that the EC has already declared these results and saying they have not committed any illegality, these concerns coming in from the inner city chiefs and queen mothers, do you think it's sound as a merit grounds in this particular electoral cycle?
I think it makes sense to suggest that if indeed some cases are so disputed that you cannot in a crystal clear fashion point to a winner, then obviously I mean, and if we don't have documents to establish the winner as a fact, we don't have the relevant documents. Earlier on, we heard that some of the documents have been destroyed by, the attending challenges that follow some of the coalitions. If this is indeed the case, then definitely. I mean, the courts will scrutinize the work of the Electoral Commission, and the law will make sure that any document that the EC uses is the right document. So if the EC's work is also the right thing that they have done is justifiable, the courts will say so. Yes, the suggestion coming from the, our traditional leaders is something that could also happen. It can happen. If the courts are not able to get the documents, the needed documents, the right ones, the pink sheets that should be there to enable, the tallying to take place and the winner declared without any challenge, then definitely we will need to find some other way to get those constituencies, their members of parliament. And we cannot rule out everyone. We can't rule it out at this time.
Now, Dr. Amache, the EC is currently in an inter-party advisory committee meeting with all these parties and stakeholders in this particular electoral cycle. Now, do you feel the EC should have had these consultations with IPAC before even coming out to give the justification for what they did? Have they jumped the process and now going back to find a way to resolve the matters amicably, where they could have done that earlier before coming out to make this collation and redeclaration of results?
You see, the call for an IPAC sitting to attempt to resolve this issue came earlier on. And I like to believe that the call has been there all the time. So just like you said, the EC obviously ignored the call, and now they are going back. The issue as to whether they have the relevant documents to show there at the IPAC meeting so that people will simply come to some sort of allow the issue to rest. Then they might be able to use the IPAC to resolve the impasse. But I don't think so. I don't think the IPAC is going to be, given the fact that they have been telling us that some of the documents are not available. When it happens like that, then you really, you are at a loss as to how, they got the materials, the pink sheets that they got to do the collation in the areas which have been declared, by the EC. I don't expect the IPAC meeting to be able to resolve the issue.
We're certainly looking forward to what this particular IPAC meeting will bring forward. But Dr. Amache Boateng, I want to thank you. But finally, before I let you go, for me, going forward, the key learnings from this particular electoral cycle, the East is relying on precedents. We are looking at the next 4 years. How best do we avoid these instances as we have seen in this particular electoral cycle?
You realize that until the year 2020, we thought that we're making gains in our electoral procedures. But then the elections of 2020 and then the current one have brought out one major challenge, and that is the collation. That is the collation. And we believe that, one, the EC can kill, several birds with one stone by resorting to various, mechanisms. It has been suggested that following the counting at the polling stations, the EC can upload the figures on an internet platform so that everybody's not only, you see, all of us are stakeholders with elections. When it comes to parliamentary elections, all members in the constituencies are stakeholders. The main stakeholders, of course, the political parties, but all other citizens are stakeholders because it's a major national exercise. So that is one suggestion to avert this challenge of people, flocking to the collation centers to participate in the exercise. I look at that as people's desire, to get the EC to expand its transparency measures. It's a call on the EC to expand its accountability principles so that all these things could be addressed. One way is that. Another way is to put a television screen at a place open enough for any individual who will want to participate in the collation. The key people who have been accredited to be there with the EC could go in there, and then they will be doing their thing there. No threat, nobody going to harass anyone. They could have a big screen outside the collation centers for people who are curious, out of curiosity, people who want to remain vigilant. Vigilance here need not, translate into violence. To be vigilant at the collation center need not become violent. You want to ensure that the right thing is done. So as far as I'm concerned, it is a call for expansion of transparency. It's a call for additional accountability. And to the best of my understanding, the EC has not helped Ghana by not, rising to this occasion. It happened 4 years ago. It shouldn't happen now. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. The commission has, a good number of people, well-read individuals, and I don't know why they didn't consciously address this challenge that occurred at GHOne South that resulted in people dying.
Hello?
Once again, we have deaths on our hands.
Evening. Please, what time is my interview?
Dr. Mache, thank you so much. We'll leave it here. We are hoping that certainly going forward, the EC will be able to expand on transparency, as you rightly mentioned. But indeed, Dr. Amache, Kwesi Amache Boateng is a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We have been engaging him on the matter of recollation of some constituency results here by the Electoral Commission. Speaking of that, the EC has submitted 274 names of MPs-elect to Parliament, two outstanding indeed, and Parliament has issued a press release stating that registration for these MPs-elect will begin on the 25th, and it will actually start physically on the 2nd of January 2025, and that's a Thursday. It will end on the 6th of January 2025. On that said day, 6th January 2025, Parliament will elect a speaker for the 9th Parliament, and members are supposed to be seated at 9 p.m. Election begins at 11 p.m. and then the swearing in of the Speaker of the 9th Parliament is at 12 midnight, and they are all expected to be seated at the Independence Square by 9 a.m. for the swearing in of the next President of the Republic of Ghana at 10 a.m. at the Independence Square. So that is the statement coming in from the Parliament House, signed by Deputy Clerk to Parliament, Camille Puamang. Yes, that is Camilo Puamang. That's it for Parliament. But let's still stay on the matters of disputed constituency results, and here the inner city chiefs and queen mothers have called for the rerun of the 9 disputed constituencies in the just ended elections. They are saying that will perhaps help solve matters.
At the office of the president of the inner city tribal chiefs and queen mothers on the 24th December 2024 on the State of the Nation by Alhaji Dr. Chief Mohammed Ibrahim Suntaba, the national president. We recall that members of the press, colleagues and friends present, ladies and gentlemen, you are warmly welcome to the palace of Chief Suntaba of inner city. You will recall that the National Peace Council got the political parties and their presidential candidates to sign a peace pact on the 28th of November 2024 in a bid to commit to a peaceful election on December 7th, which was purposefully done. The election was conducted on 7th December 2024 with His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia conceding an early defeat, to which the Council of Inner City Tribal Chiefs and Queens commends him highly for this show of statesmanship. It has been 17 days after this election, and the EC is yet to gazette the outcome of this election. The NPP presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has accepted conceded defeat and has moved on with his life, hoping that probably another opportunity will come his way. The Electoral Commission is engaged in a recollation of some 9 constituencies, which is creating tension in the country with legal luminaries in Ghana at a deadlock as to which law to be applied on this occasion. In this situation, the position of inner city tribal chiefs in Queens is that those constituencies should...
On that note, we end Insight here on News Tonight. To some other stories, executives of the National Democratic Congress and the New Agyabeng North constituency have intercepted 24,000 bags of NPK 21 fertilizer allegedly diverted for private use. The subsidized government fertilizers reportedly meant for farmers were discovered at dawn being offloaded into an abandoned church building in Koforidia following a tip-off. Similar reports of fertilizer diversion have surfaced across the eastern region, raising concerns about the misuse of government resources.
The executives alleges that the fertilizers meant for distribution under government's program were being stolen after the change of administration. A confrontation ensued between the transporters, EV Logistics, and the NDC executives in New Agyabeng North, who suspect private individuals intended to profit from the diverted items. Samuel Adongo, NDC parliamentary candidate for New Agyabeng North, spoke to the media.
Actually, we had information that yesterday evening, but it was very late, getting to almost like 12 at dawn. So that there are about 24 trucks loaded with unidentified items parked along the street of highways just opposite the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. So we decided to follow up and monitor and see whatever that is going on. So before daybreak, they started offloading some of the trucks. So we waited for them to for daybreak. Then we came around to see what is actually going on. But when we approached them, according to one of them, they told me that actually the items belong to a private businessman who is trying to get a safer place to keep his items, and it's not for government. So in fact, we were not okay with that information, so we had to follow up. So it was later that I pushed and I was able to get one of the waybills. And on the waybill, it has been indicated that there are fertilizers, NPK fertilizer 50 kg, and it's from Ministry of Food and Agriculture headquarters to Eastern Region. So I started questioning them. This is from Ministry of Food and Agriculture to Eastern Region. Means it is for government.
The National President of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Awala Dugala, is with me on this matter now. Thank you for your time this evening. The loud silence from state actors on this particular matter of alleged diversion of fertilizer meant for farmers, how do you see it? Does it justly deal with the matter?
Thank you very much. And good evening to your listeners and viewers. For us in the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, earlier when government adopted a new strategy to distribute this fertilizer, we were so much worried because government was involving DCEs and MCEs. Fertilizers were being given to members of parliament to be distributed. And we indicated that the right channel to be used in the distribution of this fertilizer was the MOFA district offices. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they have their own district offices. And these offices have been working with the farmers all this while. So it came as a surprise to us when government have to involve politically exposed person or political active people like the MCEs and then the MPs in the distribution of the fertilizer. Of course, we are also following media reports and we are seeing that there are a number of places across the country where people are rushing to go and lock up fertilizer allegedly belonging to the state and claiming that the fertilizer was supposed to be distributed to farmers and it's not been given. And I can tell you that a number of our farmers across the country have not received fertilizer. And what is even worrying is that we don't know whether this fertilizer is for PFAG 2.0, that is Planting for Food and Job, the 2.0 fertilizer, or it is the grant fertilizer that was supposed to be given to farmers in the 8 regions that were affected by the drought spell. So the whole thing is confusing. So we want the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to come out and clarify the matter for us. What is happening? Where is this fertilizer coming from? Why is it that all of a sudden people are discovering fertilizers in some other places and claiming that the fertilizer is from government that should have been given to farmers and it's not been given to them? We expect the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to come out and clarify this matter. It's very, very important to us. And that is why, in fact, if this is indeed true, then it's a source of worry to us. Because like I said, if you look at prices of farm inputs, is very high. And we expect that this fertilizer should actually go to our farmers. Of course, there are others who will be doing the minor season rice farming. And if indeed this fertilizer belongs to government, then the fertilizer must go to farmers and not to private individuals.
Seeking and waiting for clarification from state actors on this matter, and rightly so, as you mentioned it. There's a new government coming into force January 7, 2025. What expectations as peasant farmers do you have for the government? How do you want them to more justly allocate these fertilizers and even more benefits to farmers so that there wouldn't be any allegations of a diversion?
Yeah, if you look at the structures are there, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture already have their structures from the national to the regional and to the district level. So what government have to do is simply to use the structures. That's number one. Number two, government can also resort to farmer organizations like the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, recognized farmer organizations, because we have members across the country. And if government also want to deal with the farmer-based organizations, it's also another way of getting farm inputs like fertilizer, like seedlings to the farmers. Or like I indicated earlier, government can use its own structures under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to do the distribution. So we have to indicate to ourselves that we should not go back to that time where fertilizer or farm inputs is given to members of parliament or is given to MMDCEs to distribute. Once you do that, this fertilizer is going to get into the wrong hands. And we believe that with the incoming government, new structures should be looked at. The farmer-based organizations like the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, with so many members across the country, can be considered by government to be used in the distribution of farm inputs. Government-owned structures on the ground from the regional to the district level, that is the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, who already have a database of these farmers. They have been working with the farmers. Of course, the new government we should be able to use these structures to make sure that inputs get to the right farmers to grow food to feed this country.
Well, thank you so much for your inputs and thanks for your time this particular evening. He is the National President for the Peasant Farmers Association. You're still watching News Tonight on GHOne TV. We are back with more after this break.
Enough!
Welcome back to the Bulletin. It's live on GHOne TV. It's time to bring you the latest on our water business. And as with the season, on the eve of Christmas in Ghana, the roads of Ghana are alive with a steady stream of travelers, each commuting back to their roots. Buses and various terminals compete for passengers, with excited chatter of families filling the air as thousands of Ghanaians make their way home to celebrate the season with loved ones. But how different is this year? In the following report, my colleague Abigail Osei narrates the travel and experience of some Ghanaians at various bus terminals in the capital.
Christmas in Ghana has long been a cherished time for family reunions, with many city dwellers making the annual travel back to their hometowns to celebrate the festive season with loved ones. As the clock ticks down to Christmas, the hustle and bustle at bus terminus across the country tells the story of eager travelers embarking on their journeys.
We want to go to court to celebrate the Christmas because Accra is yes, it's boring, but our village, that place there is nice. Yes, so we are going to go to celebrate the Christmas.
Some of the things we do at Accra, let's say some stuff that we are supposed to buy will be expensive there, but when we go there, we get it less. That's why we always wish to be at our hometown.
It's been a long time I visited my hometown, so I'm going to celebrate the Christmas with my family.
Bruno, seated abroad, a bus bound for Nkoko, beams with excitement. For him, the journey is about more than just travel. It is a return to family and home.
Currently going to Konongo, yes, to celebrate my Christmas there. I'm going to spend about 5 days there. See my family for a long time. Yes,
but not everyone shares the same festive spirit. Esther voiced her frustration over the spike in transport fares, dampening the joy of her trip.
There has been a change. Now it's like 120. Yeah, it's now expensive. We used to pay 100 cedis.
Meanwhile, at Obuasi Terminal at a new plant station, the scene paints a different picture. Stranded travelers linger, their hopes dashed by limited availability of buses.
I can't say exactly, but I know I've been here for the past 1 hour. I'm traveling to Obuasi, but at least in my presence, 2 vehicles have moved, and there is hope that they've called the 3rd one, so we are hopeful.
You see, as I'm car no back over this we are more than 5 hours. See any public government say pan the car and found call your crew. Tiana Muse Crampono, I think it's almost said I told Lolo Film or more to Lolo Film to know. The best out of for the pan, go is here no, and then 24 for head. Yeah, quick room as Antiba. Mumway and I are more unfacanibi. Say she must have found it, and you be found on Facanibi.
Although some travelers are still struggling in catching up a bus to their hometowns, they are still hopeful that some buses will be available for them to get to their various destinations. Abigail Osei reporting for GHOne TV.
Fantastic report there by Abigail Osei of our newsroom. That does it for the business brief. It's time to bring you some other news and sports. General Secretary of the Ghana Sports Writers Association, Charles Osei has shared key details about the upcoming 49th SWAG Awards. In an exclusive interview on the game with Benjamin Yamwa and Monica Bukari, Osei highlighted that this year's edition promises to be a unique experience, offering a fresh approach compared to previous events.
January 24, 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. It's going to be, it will be glamour, it will be beautiful. It's the only night where sports performers or athletes are celebrated in this country. And very often we bring all the big men in the country to come help us honor our sporting heroes. Remember, the year under review was very, very busy because of the Africa Games. And we're going to recognize all the top performers, including administrators. So this year will be another beautiful event, if you ask me.
Well, he further disclosed that he has withdrawn from both the sports administration and presidents of their nominations. He cited personal reasons for his decision to step back from the honors.
Yes, I just want to say that I have recused myself. I have written to the leadership of SWAG, even though I'm the General Secretary, for the purposes of transparency, for the purposes of professionalism and all. I have recused myself from that category. I have withdrawn. And so I am not in contest. I mean, I know that every Kenyan, when I'm awarded, will know that Charles Osei deserves it, but I can be the judge in my own court, even though I am not directly involved. As the Secretary of SWAG, it is just not fair for me to stay in competitions.
That's it for news in sports. Let's bring some other stories. And here, founder and general overseer of a Life Chapel International, Bishop Salifu Mwako, was involved in a multi-vehicle accident this morning, December 24, near the Tesana Papaya area. The crash, which involved 5 vehicles, was caused by a truck that reportedly experienced brake failure, leading to significant damage to all vehicles. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. However, the truck driver allegedly fled the scene, abandoning the vehicle. An investigation into the incident is expected to follow, but here is an eyewitness account of the crash.
Currently at the Papaya Junction, where it is reported that 5 vehicles, including the founder and general overseer of their Life Chapel International, Salifu Mwako's vehicles, were involved in an accident. We speak to eyewitnesses on the ground to determine what went on.
Sambola card. On to action. According to my more traffic, I say so Philip Bridge. By to initial so now was cycles by night. Baka back on the dear Yamin Kwan and your pavement now. I talking and uncle no be flats. And there one but driver there way by beside no or say like the side way. And I was sitting by when plan the video. And we are bare and 1 o'clock, me dem close. Inti me dem hu na me suru inti me ko me. So me buy and me beto private back when ya say amomo na bola kai no so animu na say. Do obi e pra de am ameto. No kra de ba me dem ameto. Na ma me hu se moja bi agu fom. Ba glasses na e boboye. De ko ba ye ne say emle bo be 12:30 to 1. Me ati ha say ti de hu ya ne say bola kai no ati free every top of eba entina boy baako ene girl baako ti de mu ane say omo jump here ana make ache omo say
personally, I'm with relief and a gladdens my hand that on the 24th ahead of December 25 we do not have to deal with another news, and so I'm happy that no injuries were reported. But that does it for this evening's bulletin. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. On behalf of the entire production team led by Abdul Hanan Adam, we say thank you for watching, but we leave you with this message from the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ahead of Christmas.
Ghanaians,
As we gather with our families and loved ones on this most blessed of occasions, I come to you not only as your president, but also as a fellow citizen, a husband, a father, and a grandfather who cherishes the warmth and meaning of Christmas, just like you. Tonight, our nation is united in celebration, reflection, and gratitude for the gift of life and the boundless grace of the Almighty. Christmas is a time of joy and togetherness, a season when we pause to cherish the enduring values of love, hope, and compassion. It reminds us of the ultimate gift of our Savior, Jesus Christ, whose birth brought light into the world and gave humanity the promise of salvation. His story inspires us to be our brother or sister's keeper, to extend a hand of kindness, and to uphold the dignity of every individual. This Christmas, I invite all of us to reflect on what it means to live as one nation under God. In our homes, let us create memories that are marked by laughter, forgiveness, and the simple joys that remind us of life's true treasures. And in our communities, let us renew our commitment to being instruments of peace and progress. Let us reach out to those who are less fortunate, offering them not just material assistance, but also the priceless gift of our time, love, and presence. As I approach the conclusion of my tenure as your president, I want to speak from the heart and say, thank you. Serving as the leader of our beloved country has been the greatest honor of my life. Together we have achieved remarkable milestones. We've expanded access to education, strengthened the healthcare system, invested in infrastructure, revitalized agriculture, accelerated the industrial transformation of the economy, and worked tirelessly to secure a brighter future for our children. These achievements are not mine, they are yours. They are proof of the resilience and resolve of Ghanaians everywhere. Yet our journey is far from over. Ghana's story is still being written, and each of us has a role to play in shaping her future. Let us move forward with faith, knowing that brighter days lie ahead, powered by the energy, creativity, and determination of our people. Tonight, as the festive lights illuminate our cities, towns, and villages, let them remind us of the hope that shines within each one of us. Hope that compels us to dream big, to rise above division, and to build a nation where every child, no matter where he or she is born, has the chance to thrive. Fellow Ghanaians, this year we have achieved another monumental milestone in our national development with the peaceful, free and fair election of a new president and new members of parliament. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the president-elect and the MPs-elect and wish them wisdom, strength, and God's blessings as they prepare to leave our beloved nation. I must nevertheless also condemn in no uncertain terms the unnecessary acts of violence that have tarnished an otherwise exemplary democratic exercise. Let us never forget that seeking power is not a call to arms, but rather a call to service. Those who might contemplate using violence to achieve their aims, know this: our nation's peace is sacred, and it will not be sacrificed on the altar of ambition. The rule of law will prevail, no matter what. I urge the security services to take a firm stance against any actions that threaten the stability and harmony of our land. Let us ensure that every election deepens our democracy and fortifies our unity. As the saying goes, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Let us embrace this wisdom as a guiding principle in our journey forward. As we gather around our tables to share meals, let us think of those who make our celebrations possible. The security personnel standing guard so we may celebrate in safety. The health workers caring for the sick. The farmers and fisher folk whose labor feeds our families. Let us also remember those who are less fortunate, and may our prayers and actions bring them comfort and renewal in the year ahead. My fellow Ghanaians, having come to the end of my lawful tenure as president and preparing to step into the next chapter of my life, I leave you with this thought. Ghana is a nation destined for greatness. Let us protect her peace, cherish her unity, and nurture her promise. Together, guided by the light of hope and the spirit of love, we can achieve extraordinary things. May this Christmas season fill our hearts with joy, our homes with laughter, and our lives with blessings. May the coming year bring us closer to the Ghana of our dreams, and may God continue to bless our nation and its people abundantly. Merry Christmas, my fellow Ghanaians. I thank you and have a good evening.